Bank. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Tonight from the Smith Center in Chapel Hill, it's the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame taking on the 14th-ranked Tar Heels of the University of North Carolina. And as we head down the home stretch, Virginia is still in control of the conference, despite suffering their first loss in conference this season Saturday against Virginia Tech. Virginia actually moved up to #1 in the country in the poll out today. North Carolina tied for 4th, and Notre Dame fighting for position, tied for 11th right now with Boston College. Hi, everybody. Welcome, Sean McDonough, along with Jay Billis. Delighted to have you with us. So far in the last week or so, the fortunes have been very good for these two teams, and it's been a very busy week for North Carolina. They're going to play their 3rd game in 5 days. They've won their last 3. Notre Dame has won its last 2.
Yeah, one of the reasons North Carolina's played so well over the last 3 games is the Tar Heels are playing harder collectively, and Luke May has really asserted himself even more, having a spectacular season. But against North Carolina State, 33 points, 17 rebounds. He had 27 points in the second half. And the return of a healthy Matt Farrell. Last 3 games, Farrell averaging 21 points per game. And for more on Matt Farrell, let's go to the first member of our crew, Allison Williams.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. I spoke to Farrell earlier today. He's excited to be playing for the first time here at the Smith Center, and excited this opportunity that his team gets today against North Carolina. A chance to pick up a quality win and potentially keep their postseason hopes alive. Farrell said, we have some momentum going, our offense is flowing, and we're just trying to grind our way to 9 league wins. And they have some extra motivation. He said they are playing for senior Bonzie Colson so they can be playing meaningful games when he potentially returns.
And that could be prior to the end of the regular season. There's the starting lineup for Mike Bray. They've been outstanding from behind the arc during this 2-game winning streak against Boston College and Florida State. And Farrell missed his first shot.
Well, North Carolina, Sean, is going to have to do 2 things. They're going to have to guard the 3-point line, which has not been a strength for the Tar Heels this year. And they're going to have to rebound, because this is a very good rebounding Notre Dame team. Surprisingly, both these teams are right at the top of the ACC in rebounds and offensive rebounds.
Cameron Johnson, the first bucket of the game. Martinez Gibbon over May and gets the bounce. And Gibbon has an admirer in Coach Roy Williams of North Carolina, who said to us before the game tonight, I'd love to have that guy on my team.
Well, he is far more athletic than he gets credit for, and has done a fantastic job on the glass, averaging just under 10 rebounds a game in conference play. Martinez Gibbon has really improved from last season to this.
Luke May missed a 3. Rebound got controlled by Austin Torres, a newcomer to the starting lineup, in there for his defense and rebounding.
Here's a guy, TJ Gibbs, that he and Matt Farrell have to have good games. They've got to put up at least 40 points between them.
Rex Pfluger. Shot clock at 5, and Gibbs fouled while shooting a 3 by Kenny Williams. His first foul. Doug Shows made the call, working with Michael Stevens and Roger Ayers.
Smart play by Gibbs here. He saw that Kenny Williams was coming to him and just stuck his leg out. And the referees should see that. They shouldn't call that because he stuck his leg out. Now, would he have been hit anyway? Maybe. But when you stick your leg out, you shouldn't get that call.
You're not a fan of being entitled to your leg space, regardless of where you chose to kick your leg?
I don't think your leg space goes out 4 feet in front of you.
Maybe he just has a unique delivery. It's a rare miss from the free throw line. He's 93% in the ACC in league games, and that's #1 in the conference. He's 7th overall in all games at 84%.
You know who used to do a great job of getting fouled as a 3-point shooter from Notre Dame? Remember Colin Falls?
Yes.
He maybe did the best job of anybody of being able to draw that foul, whether it took some acting or not.
Right.
He probably shot more free throws as a 3-point shooter than anybody I can remember.
How about that? 1 out of 3 for the best free throw shooter in the conference, with Colin Falls while shooting a 3. And a North Carolina foul on Cam Johnson, his first. There's Mike Bray holding his squad together. 3 wins away from 400 at Notre Dame. He passed Digger Phelps earlier this year to become the winningest coach in the history of the Fighting Irish basketball program. They're 15-10 overall. Allison talked about Matt Farrell's comments this afternoon. Mike Bray says we just get to 8-10 in conference heading to the tournament in Brooklyn. Who knows what might happen with an eye toward the NCAA tournament. Farrell a miss, kept alive by Gebbin. The crowd thought he traveled while trying to gather in the ball.
Last time these two teams played, North Carolina did not block out very well at all, and it's come into this game as well. Notre Dame getting offensive rebound after offensive rebound to start this game.
Martinez Gebbin made it 5-2 for the Irish. These two teams played a month ago in South Bend. It was an exciting game won by Carolina by 1 point. Williams missed a three. May good position inside, and then he got fouled by Gebbin.
You know, one of the things in the last game, I was there for that game, North Carolina did not block out at all. I mean, nobody put a body on anybody from Notre Dame, and this is too good of a rebounding team. And on that possession, doesn't look like Luke May got a body on Martinez Gebbin at all. And Gebbin is averaging close to 4 offensive rebounds per game in conference play, one of the best offensive rebounders in the league.
May blocked by Gebbin with Torres there as well.
That's the sneaky athleticism I was talking about a little bit earlier. You can make the mistake of thinking Martinez Gebbin is just a plotter. He is far from that. He is a good basketball player that knows how to play.
Theo Pinson working on Torres, and the floater wouldn't go, and another rebound for Gebbin. 3 already for the native of Vilnius, Lithuania. Played very well for Lithuania's gold medal winning team in the World University Games this past summer. And he gets called for an offensive foul as he ran over Theo Pinson. And that's 2 fouls on Gebbin, and big concern early for Mike Bray with a team that isn't very deep.
Really smart play by Theo Pinson. Saw the handoff that was going to be kept by Gebbin, which is part of what Notre Dame does in those situations on a dribble handoff, and was right there, stepped outside the restricted arc. That's a really good charge drawn by Theo Pinson.
So Gebbin to the bench. Elijah Burns, not much of a scorer, big body. He's guarding the ball right now, number 12 on the floor for the Irish. Joel Berry, the floater.
Well, who's better in college basketball at those short floaters and at his size to finish around the basket than Joel Berry?
Was that a rhetorical question, or would you like me to answer? Pfluger the miss.
If I want a good answer, it was rhetorical.
Pinson, the pull up from the elbow over Burns, batted back out by Johnson. Very quick ball movement by the Tar Heels, and it led to a 3 for Kenny Williams, who's been a hot shooter from beyond the arc.
It is amazing how the game has changed over the years, Sean. That offensive rebounds are turned into threes by alert basketball teams, and that was a really good job by North Carolina to get an uncontested 3 based upon an offensive board, and a long one.
John Mooney on the floor for the Irish. With the shot clock expiring, Gibbs missed an open 3. Pinson moved it quickly ahead. Berry's open for 3 more.
Sean, that's an example of how North Carolina has improved over the last 3 games. Really good defense, turned it into a quick score on the other end. Everybody really alert and into the possession.
Well, you mentioned they need good nights from Farrell and Gibbs. Neither one of them has hit a shot yet. May working on Mooney, missed the fadeaway, and a good rebound by Pfluger. A good size at 6'6". He's a guard, but he gives him more than 4 rebounds per game. And a bad turnover right into the hands of Kenny Williams. Johnson, the transfer from Pitt. Nice dump down. He got it back from May. And North Carolina's on a run, and Mike Bray will not wait for the media timeout. 10 unanswered points for the homestanding Heels.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Joseph A. Bank, the new tradition since 1905. And in part by Infinity, empower the drive. And Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
North Carolina is playing their third game in 5 days, so the need for efficient recovery is really important. We're here inside the Tar Heels athletic training room, where the players come pre and post games for soft tissue work. That can be through massage or the use of a foam roller. Also, after games, anybody that's played a lot of minutes has to hit the cold tub. They're in the frigid temps for 10 to 12 minutes to help with any inflammation. Other than that, it's a regular message of rest and hydration to help players with this quick turnaround from game to game to game.
A lot of talk, 3 games in 5 days. I think sometimes we need to remind ourselves they are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old.
No, they can do it, but it's just a question, are the other teams in the league having to do the same thing? And nobody's done that. I think the last time that happened in the ACC was 1991, and in large measure that was due to the Gulf War, at least last time North Carolina did it. But I thought it was in poor form of you to ask to use the cold tub in case we went to overtime tonight, so you could recover quickly.
I'm into vocal cord therapy now.
Although you certainly give them a good go every game.
I was going to say, they'll be well rested tonight. Burns, he got fouled. We'll go to the line trying to end this 10-0 North Carolina run. Luke May called for his first foul.
Elijah Burns has been giving Notre Dame a little bit more of late. He's such a physical player. Had a good outing against Florida State. Played some solid minutes. Gave him 5 points in what was a really important win.
Free throw well short. And he's been a good free throw shooter, 79%. Junior from Troy, New York, went to Blair Academy in New Jersey. Very solidly put together at 6'8", 235 pounds.
Blair Academy was Charlie Villanueva's.
That is correct.
Good ball movement.
Again, we've been doing that all night. Joel Berry's 3 way short. It pinballed around, last touched by the Irish.
Berry's been scoring well of late. Last 2 games he's averaging just under 19 points, but he's only 2 of 11 from 3 in his last 2 games coming into this one. There's the switch.
Shot clock running out. Williams has to shoot it. A little bit long, and the rebound down to Burns.
Notre Dame has at times been a little bit better when they've had TJ Gibbs handling the ball and Matt Farrell working off the ball. Gibbs is really good with the ball in his hands.
Now Farrell, as Allison said, he has brought the juice back, the word Mike Bray used today, and they've been scoring 180 points total, 90 points per game in those back-to-back wins coming in against BC and Florida State. And that's really what we're accustomed to seeing from this Notre Dame team in the Mike Bray era. Excellent offense.
Well, they're not going to be able without Bonzie Colson, DJ Harvey. You can't expect to win games in the 60s in this league. They have to put points on the board. But, how many teams have had to deal with what Notre Dame's had to deal with the personnel losses, and yet they're still competitive in every game?
Is that another rhetorical question? I have no list of teams that have had to deal with as much as they've had to deal with.
Well, you could think about it.
There may be others, but there are 351 Division I teams. Turnaround bucket rattled home by Sterling Manning, the 6'11 freshman, just into the game for North Carolina. Colson missing his 12th game tonight. They've gone 4-7 without him. Of course, they started the year in terrific fashion, winning the Maui Invitational, the big win over then 6th-ranked Wichita State. Colson, the preseason ACC Player of the Year. Theo Pinson called for the foul, his first. But then the injury to Colson. Fractured a bone in his left foot in practice in late December. Farrell, as we mentioned, missed 5. They're without DJ Harvey, the talented freshman, again tonight for the 7th straight game. They think they'll have him back Saturday from a bone bruise to his knee. So that's a lot of the year they played without 3 of their top 6 players, and yet with a little bit of the Mike Bray magic, they could be a factor in Brooklyn.
Well, if they get Colson back, I think he's looking for a little magic once he gets there, but it's a question of what the committee is going to do with Notre Dame's resume. Will the Irish get a bit of a break for having Colson out for 12 games. You would think they would have to give him a break because they played well without him, and they played so well with him.
Farrell missed a 3 in transition. Nick Jogo into the game, helped keep it alive for the Irish. And that would be fair. I mean, if they go 8-10 in the conference, they played a lot of the year without Colson. They get him back. They have the resume that speaks for itself when he was available to Mike Bray. That's a compelling argument for the committee to ponder. Gibbs still can't get one to go, and Notre Dame is 0 for 6 from three-point range.
Well, they're still going to be shooting. They're 0 for 6 from 3, but only down 2 possessions. Not a great pass by Theo Pinson. It was great to chase that ball down.
After the missed 3 by Brandon Robinson for North Carolina.
This game is starting to feel like the one that was played up in South Bend. You have the feeling that North Carolina should be up way more than just 2 possessions right now, with almost 9 minutes gone. Good pass.
And Mooney, boy, he's been terrific the last couple of weeks. First bucket of the game for the sophomore from Orlando, Florida.
It's his 25th 3 on the season, and he's just getting better and better.
Yeah.
He's got a little hitch in that shot, but he makes them, man. He is a really good player.
Pinson from just beyond the free throw line knocks it in. His first points.
Well, Pinson can really affect a game without scoring. Anything he gives you as scoring is a bonus. And he gave you a lot of scoring against North Carolina State in the first game. He had 22 points, 15 rebounds. Good fake.
And Mooney wide open again. He didn't score in double figures in any of their first 16 games of the season. Then he scored in double figures in 4 of the next 6. Good move to the bucket by Sterling Manley, and he's fouled by Mooney. Let's take a look at Roy Williams at tonight's Infinity Coach's Corner. Take an Infinity timeout in your day. Vote for your favorite coach and charity. Roy actively involved with the American Cancer Society, Pancreatic Cancer Association. Well, coming up after this game, on to the Big 12 we go. Texas and Baylor. Looking forward to watching Mohamed Bamba. You've seen him in person, Jay. I have not, but looking forward to watching him on TV tonight. Averaging 10.6 rebounds and 4.1 blocks per game. Last player to do that over a full season was Anthony Davis. Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, he's gone on to some pretty good things. But Mo Bamba has that kind of ability. He's a great rim protector because of his length and his timing. You know, shot blocking, shot changing ability. And we've got a lot of great big guys in college basketball this year, and it makes you rethink sort of the idea that the game has changed. And, you have to have all guards that can shoot threes. And I'm gonna have a hard time at the draft. There's going to be a lot of drinking going on with the wingspan of Mo Bamba. 7'9" wingspan, and that's made even more impressive by the fact that Holly Rowe, people don't realize this, she's 6'8".
She is 5'4". Well, that's amazing. Good flexibility there, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to clear his own space in a yoga class.
Shot clock expiring. Farrell, tough shot. They still can't get a 3 to go from anybody else but Mooney. Whoa, Farrell, good hustle. Nearly had the steal right in front of us. Let's send you back to the studio. Here's Carl Ravitch. All right, Carl, thank you very much. Midway through the first half here now in Chapel Hill. Brandon Robinson knocks one home. Been a terrific week already for Carolina. We mentioned they've won 3 in a row, win over Pittsburgh, but then Thursday night, the big victory over Duke. And Saturday, rallying from behind to beat an improved NC State team. So they have the bragging rights over the last week here in the Triangle, and now trying to make it 4 wins in a row with a victory over Notre Dame tonight. That's a 3 out of the corner for Rex Pfluger, the junior from Dana Point, California.
You cannot leave a corner shooter. And I know people want to help, but Cam Johnson got caught in no man's land on that penetration by Matt Farrell.
May fouled by Austin Torres. Here's Allison.
Guys, during the last timeout, Mike Bray told his guys that he really likes their approach offensively, the way they're moving the ball, but told them don't be afraid to really drive it at these guys. He said we need to make sure we're getting a great shot every time and continue to get their bigs and ball screens.
Well, Notre Dame's been very successful in having their big guys screen further from the basket. But watch here on the Farrell penetration. I mean, you can't help off that much and then get caught on a screen there. You've got to stay with Rex Pfluger on that penetration because Matt Farrell's going to have to make it tough too in there over your big guys, over like Garrison Brooks or Luke May. You don't want to give up open threes to Notre Dame. That's how they can beat you. They're not going to beat you with tough twos.
26 three-pointers made over the last two games. Obviously both of them wins, as we've noted, against Boston College and Florida State. Mooney feeling it and hits another, his third, 3 for 3 off the bench for 9 points for John Mooney.
Yeah, that's usually what Luke May does to other players, is pull them away from the basket, make a big guy guard on the perimeter. Luke May had to guard what he does to other guys. Now a little 2-3 zone for Notre Dame, giving a different look to North Carolina.
Cameron Johnson, that's a 3 for North Carolina, and he has 7.
He's been solid over his last 5 games, just under 18 points a game, and was great against Duke at 18 points, 13 rebounds in that game.
Pfluger too high for Mooney, third Irish turnover.
Give credit to Garrison Brooks there for the help that he gave to Cam Johnson on that screening action. Notre Dame just hangs around, and they have the ability to make so many perimeter shots. I really felt like around the 10-minute mark, maybe the 9-minute mark, Notre Dame should have been up, or excuse me, North Carolina should have been up by double digits. And you let a team like Notre Dame hang, they're too good to let them hang.
Well, Gibbs and Farrell, Roy Williams said before the game time, might be the best offensive backcourt in the conference. They've combined for 1 point. And Notre Dame still within 4. Now it's 6 as Joel Berry drives and banks one home. Senior out of Apopka, Florida, has 7.
Well, Joel Berry's a great example of, no matter your size, if you practice creative finishes around the basket, you can be a really good finisher, even if you're only 6 feet tall, 6'1", whatever. I mean, he's an excellent finisher around the bucket.
He's listed at 6 feet. He has the rebound of the miss by Pfluger. Numbers on the break for the Tar Heels.
That was a terrible shot by Rex Pfluger, and it cost them. You never have your defense set like that. Notre Dame got lucky not getting scored on there.
Austin Torres with the rebound on the defensive end for Notre Dame. Nearing 7 minutes to go in the first half. Nice pass. And Torres with the dunk for his first points of the night.
Another great pass.
And it'll send Williams to the line. Cameron Johnson on target with the bucket.
Well, the world has been waiting for this, except for me. Clearly nobody else available for 94 feet. Shut out by Notre Dame, North Carolina, and the entire ACC office. Disappointing.
The anticipation of this is almost overwhelming.
Staggering.
You gonna get that thing stuck in the net?
Sure.
Ready anytime.
Good.
Anytime. Ready anytime. We're not ready now?
You always just high maintenance?
94 feet with Dave Pash. John Sciambi. Dan Schulman. Who is the funniest player that you've ever covered?
Oh, wow.
You have dinner with 4 people, living or dead. Who would it be?
1 feet and McDonough is out.
If you could only do one sport play-by-play, what would it be?
Luge.
Who's your favorite analyst to work with?
Everybody else is tied for first.
That was very good.
Was it good?
Well done.
Thankfully, that might be the end of 94 feet with Jay Billis.
What
forever.
a train wreck.
We must have killed that. I'm sorry. That was such a nice segment ordinarily, and I just realized watching that how little I bring to the table. I didn't believe you when you told me that you don't sit around thinking about the questions ahead of time. They just come to you as we go. And after experiencing that firsthand, I now fully believe that.
Well, clearly you didn't think about the answers.
Well, I didn't have them ahead of time.
Yeah, because they're so out of the blue.
Yeah. I still don't know who the funniest player that I've ever talked to is. You athletes are so rarely amusing. 5 to shoot for the Irish. Down by 5. Euro step and a half. And Gibbs fouled. He'll have a chance to go to the line. Has just 1 point. Farrell doesn't have any. 7th Woods called for his first.
7th Woods has been injured most of the season. Just came back in the game against Duke. And gives a little more backcourt depth to the Tar Heels. But Farrell and Gibbs have to get going. The fact that Notre Dame is within a couple of possessions with those guys they don't have a field goal, should give North Carolina a little bit of pause. Like the Tar Heels have not played as well or as hard, frankly, in this game early on as they did in the last 2 against NC State and Duke.
Combined to score 47 points per game in the 2-game winning streak. They have 3 tonight. Gibbs and Farrell, all 3 for Gibbs. But Notre Dame within 3, under 6.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Rex Pfluger doing a really good job on Cameron Johnson, just staying with him, not letting him get an open look.
Williams got a good look from just beyond the elbow, and he has 6.
Well, his last 3 games, Kenny Williams has really snapped out of a shooting slump and has played really, really well. He was excellent against Duke at 20 in that game, 6 threes.
Double figures in all 3 of these wins during Carolina's winning streak for Williams. And a foul. Gibbs got hit in the face by 7th Woods, 2nd on 7th.
Well, the previous 4 games before the last 3, Kenny Williams had really been struggling from the field, especially from 3-point range. But the last 3 games, shooting over 50% from 3. He's had double figures in each game and has really, they've been looking for that 3rd scorer, that 4th scorer, and he was the guy. He and Cam Johnson stepped forward.
And guys, I talked to Kenny Williams about what's been clicking for him the last 3 games, and he said he's just been able to take his time with his shot, kind of settle in, really get the shot he wanted. He said a lot of times he was kind of off balance when he would shoot in January, so he really focused on that in the last couple games. And he said seeing the ball go through the basket against Pittsburgh, it just kind of felt bigger after that, and then the Duke game was a huge confidence booster for him.
And Roy Williams has been telling him to be more aggressive, and he has been. Woods missed 17 games with a stress fracture of his right foot. Williams, there's aggressiveness. And a 3. Good looking release and nothing but net for the junior from Midlothian, Virginia.
Just a defensive mistake by Matt Farrell to go under that screen. And Kenny Williams just stops behind it. You give him that kind of look, it's just too easy for a good shooter. Good closeout by Theo Pinson. Take away that shot by John Mooney.
Gibbs, shot clock at 5. Mooney, another one. And I don't know if he's hit the rim yet with any of those 4 3-point field goals.
He had a really good game against Virginia Tech with 15 points, 11 rebounds. Boy, Mooney is maturing into an outstanding player right before our eyes.
Luke May. That was a 2-point goal for North Carolina. He has 4.
Really hasn't touched the ball much in this game, Luke May.
Without Martinez Gebbin on the floor for much of the half with 2 quick fouls. Another Carolina foul, and it's the 3rd on 7th Woods. And even though he's 7th, he's only going to get 5 fouls tonight. Well, just as was the case last season, it's the crossover. College announcers going over to the NBA. The NBA guys going back to college. Hubie Brown will be going into the witness protection program on Wednesday as he'll be working with Jay on that Virginia Duke game. Mark Jackson and Dickie V. Clippers, Celtics, PJ Carlissimo and Dan Dockage. There's a pair. Kentucky and Auburn. Doris Burke with Bill Walton for the Warriors and the Trailblazers. The games are all great, but you'd want to
Just tune in to watch how these people mesh. They
I
play
can't
well
wait.
with each other.
I can't wait.
Are you nervous? I mean, Hubie Brown is a legend. I know
He is
you are.
beyond a legend. And there are two North Carolina legends, Mitch Kupchak and Antoine Jameson. How about this? Those two guys both had multiple 30-point, 15-rebound games in the same season for North Carolina. Two of the last ones to do it before Luke May. And Luke May did it this year. I mean, that's a remarkable achievement.
You might want to tighten up that phrasing before you get with Hubie on Wednesday. Johnson a miss, Mooney the rebound. Yeah, the last guy to have 2 or more 30-15 games in a season for North Carolina was Mitch Kupchak back in 75-76. Luke Mays had 2 of those this year.
Remarkable. Billy Cunningham had 6 of those one year, 5 the next.
Elijah Burns, wild shot. And a good catch in the corner by Andrew Platek, the freshman guard, on the floor now, obviously, for North Carolina. Mays fadeaway wouldn't go. Platek in there battling, but it was kept alive by Mooney.
North Carolina, or Notre Dame, can have some success, I think, if they use John Mooney in some pick and pop situations. Because North Carolina's been sending 2 guys with the ball, and they're over helping on it.
Five to shoot. Pfluger for the tie. Air ball and a shot clock violation. An immediate timeout with 3:06 to go in the half. Carolina by 3 on Big Monday.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Overton's, America's marine and water sports superstore. And Heineken. Open your world. Enjoy responsibly.
Well, that doesn't make you want to tune in for halftime. Nothing will. Joe Barry, tough shot. Good rebound in traffic, and then it slipped out of the hands of the freshman Garrison Brooks.
Well, right now, this has been the John Mooney show for Notre Dame, and a night where Matt Farrell and TJ Gibbs have not been able to score. Mooney's come in off the bench, and he has been outstanding.
He's 12 points off the bench.
Boy, Roy Williams has got to be going nuts over on the bench right now, given that North Carolina is shooting 50% in this game, and they're up by 1 bucket. And Notre Dame has not played well at all.
And Notre Dame relies heavily on the 3. They're just 5 out of 14 from 3, and they're really poor by their standards at the line. Now 8 out of 14 with that miss by Austin Torres, who's.
This is really typical of Mike Bray and his teams in this type of situation. You know, they're on the road in a difficult environment against a team that's been playing really well, and they're hanging in there. Just keep it close. And he really believes that his team at some point is going to start hitting shots. And when they do, then all of a sudden gain pressure on the opponent. And the Irish can work some magic, even shorthanded without Bonzi Colson.
And playing most of the half without Gebben, who was a force at the beginning of the game. Carolina rescued the ball, but the shot clock is expiring. Platek the floater. And it got taken back by Brooks. Platek banks it home.
Boy, and that was all set up. It looked like Matt Farrell kicked that ball, and it wasn't called a kick ball. Would have been helpful for Notre Dame if it had been.
Crowd likes the effort of Platek, who was very alert to the situations there as well. Mooney in a zone. My goodness, again, nothing but net.
You cannot help off a corner shooter.
Barry The running bank shot. 9 for Barry for the second year in a row as one of the 10 finalists for the Bob Cousy Award as the best point guard in the country.
Joel Berry is just a great college player.
Under a minute to go in the half. Gibbs. Apparently back in bounds. Missed that runner. Barry lobbed it inside. Alert was Mooney, and now the Irish can take the last shot of the half, and Mike Bray puts up the stop sign for Matt Farrell, who was already well aware of the situation.
Well, what a poor possession by North Carolina. You have to think that Roy Williams is livid right now, and Mike Bray couldn't be happier that his team has hung in there without playing well in the first half.
We'll have Gibbon back at the start of the second half. Tough shot by Farrell. Still 7 seconds on the release. He's had a dreadful half. He's averaged 21 a game during the last 3 since he returned from the sprained left ankle and the bone bruise. Now Carolina has time for a shot. Barry. Largest lead was 7 for North Carolina. The John Mooney, the sophomore, kept Notre Dame in the game with 15 points on 5 threes. Did not miss a shot. Had 3 rebounds as well. Here's Allison with Coach Bray.
Coach Bray, how have you guys managed to keep this close when TJ Gibbs and Matt Farrell have been held without a field goal?
Well, Johnny Mooney is saving us tonight, and the tempo's good. We're slowing it down a little bit and taking some time off the clock. We're right where we want to be. See if we can get Gibbon and Farrell and Gibbs going in the second half.
What could you do to maybe get them going offensively?
You know, I thought once Matty got to the foul line, that would help them a little bit. We got to keep ball screening for them. Let's drive it some. Maybe you get fouled.
Mike, thanks.
38-34. Carolina at the break. Now to the studio for the Alfa Romeo halftime report with Carl, Seth, and Jay. Welcome back to Big Monday, presented by Joseph A. Bank, where North Carolina leads Notre Dame 38-34 at the half. The Irish hang in there because of John Mooney's 15 points on 5 for 5 for 3 off the bench. Joel Berry has 9 for North Carolina. Jay, kind of a strange first half.
It was a strange first half. North Carolina shot 50% in the first half, and yet Notre Dame hanging around with TJ Gibbs and Matt Farrell really not doing anything. Matt Farrell was 0 of 9. Probably 8 of them were bad shots, but John Mooney 5 of 5 from 3. North Carolina was leaving him in the corner on middle penetration, and without him, the rest of the Irish were 5 of 23 from the field. Mooney 5 of 5 from three-point range for 15 points. He was fantastic in the first half.
And a moment ago, Allison spoke with Coach Williams.
Coach Williams, what do you adjust or correct defensively with the way John Mooney shot the 3 in that first half?
Well, you know, Gibbon gets his second foul, and you think that's good, but it was good for them because Mooney comes in and makes 5 for 5. We made 5 drastically major errors. You got to make the guy put the ball on the floor, and we stunk it up at that. It was not pretty. He had a heck of a half, and I congratulate him.
Coach, thank you.
Well, you've talked about it before. North Carolina does not guard the three-point line very well at all. They've given up 136 threes entering tonight in conference play, by far the most. They go into Luke May, and that's a good way to start the second half because he hasn't been as involved as usual.
Yeah, he didn't touch the ball much in the first half. That was just a little side ball screen slip action and nobody underneath the basket. Everybody hugging up on the weak side. Good rebound
by Gibbon. It was a factor early, then he turns it over. Kenny Williams a steal. Farrell hustling to get back and fouls him.
Now watch Luke May on this. Just goes over for a side ball screen. And as he gets there, he sees that his man is above him. and he just slips to the basket, and Matt Farrell not in good help side position to be able to take that away. One way that Luke May can get involved. And Luke May, Sean, averaging 10.5 rebounds per game, shooting 49% from three-point range. The last guy in college basketball to average over 10 rebounds a game and shoot over 40% from three.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. Isn't that amazing?
I had it before the graphic came up.
I think that's stunning. Now, it's major conference. There may have been some guys in smaller conferences that have done that. But for a major conference player to compare Luke May, I don't think a lot of people are comparing Luke May to Kevin Durant. But production-wise, that's the comparison. That's amazing.
Gebben, he has 6. And nearly a minute gone by in the second half. North Carolina with a 4-point lead. Johnson to Williams, and off for May, short, and it's deflected out of bounds by Theo Pinson.
So right now, Notre Dame has 5 scoring threats on the floor. John Mooney can stretch it. Martinez Gebben inside can post and finish plays. And it's a very good screening team. You'd think that Matt Farrell and TJ Gibbs are going to get some opportunities.
Farrell off the mark all night long, but not bashful, trying to shoot his way out of it. Berry, a 3.
North Carolina taking advantage of poor transition defense by Notre Dame after the miss by Farrell. I just don't think Notre Dame can win here without Matt Farrell and TJ Gibbs putting points on the board. That's a big ask.
Gebben doubled. Farrell tries to get closer and hits the runner moving down the lane. 4 for Farrell, who averages 16.5. You saw Bonzie Colson on the bench. He did participate in their shoot around today. Just did some light shooting, but without a boot on his foot. He's going to have an x-ray on Wednesday and another a week after that. And if those look good, he's going to pick up the intensity in the workouts. Pinson on the offensive glass for North Carolina. It would be great, really, for Notre Dame, obviously, but it'd be a terrific story for college basketball in the ACC tournament if Colson can come back and be a factor in Brooklyn as Notre Dame tries to make a push to make the NCAA field.
Well, Colson was having such a great year. I mean, he's one of the best players in the country before he got hurt. He's averaging over 25 or 21 a game and 11 rebounds. He's a big-time player.
Beautiful pass by Gibbs to Gebben. And Bonzie Colson, preseason ACC Player of the Year. Notre Dame picked 3rd in the preseason ACC poll, behind only Duke and North Carolina. And they looked every bit worthy of that high ranking in the preseason before he got hurt. Foul is on Cameron Johnson, his 2nd. He wants to play. There'd been some talk if Notre Dame had totally faded out of the NCAA tournament picture that perhaps they wouldn't risk another injury. And Mike Bray said Colson's future is the most important thing. He isn't going to risk it, but if those x-rays look good, he feels good, they'll put him back out there and see what they can do late in the regular season, perhaps with 2 games to go.
And it's a foot. It's not like it's a knee problem. They'd rush back. A lot of guys have played with a broken foot coming back. Great cut by Cameron Johnson.
And the lead 7. That's the largest that North Carolina has had tonight. 3 minutes played, second half. Pfluger, he's been quiet too after the outpouring of points from him on Saturday when he had 19. He set up Gebben, and that's 10 for Gebben in limited playing time. He got just 3 minutes in the first half due to the foul trouble.
A 2-3 zone now by Notre Dame. I think with Mooney and Gebben as screeners, North Carolina tends to overhelp a little bit off of screening action. And they can get, I think Notre Dame can get shots for both Mooney and Gebben. Got a switch now. Joe Barry on Mooney.
Gebben trying to work on May. Good defense by Luke May.
May just making him shoot over and not fouling.
Pinson went spinning away from Gibbs, and then a blocking foul called by Roger Ayers, the outside official, and Mike Bray irate about that call, and he needs to be careful. Mike Stevens going over to tell him to calm down.
I think he's got a complaint.
That's a big call. The foul's on Mooney, his second.
I never understand why the referees go over and talk and then they walk away like they don't want to talk. Like, either call a tech or don't. Like
Roger Ayers was staring, who made the call, was staring at Mike as if he was about to give him a technical.
And that's fine. I mean, these are three terrific officials, but call the tech, don't call the tech. What good does staring do? You're not a parent.
Well, they probably are, but in this case, they're not Mike Bray's
not Mike Bray's parent.
And Roger Ayers, the same official again now with a moving screen. And if I was Mike Bray, I wouldn't like that. Fouls on Gibbs, his first. Allison with Bonzie Colson when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by AstraZeneca.
Welcome back to Chapel Hill here with Notre Dame senior Bonzie Colson. And Bonzie, since the injury, you've kind of turned into Coach Colson. So curious what you told Marty Gevin at the half when he had the 2 fouls and just the 4 points.
Continue to be ready. You know, he's a veteran guy, so he knows that they're going to come back around. He's going to get some touches in the post and keep playing hard. And he's doing that now. He's playing well. We just need to get some stops. We'll be fine.
With Farrell and Gibbs struggling to get their shot to fall, what was the message to those guys?
Keep shooting it. We don't tell a guy not to shoot the ball. Tell him to keep shooting the ball, and they're going to fall for sure.
Bonzie, thank you.
Thank you.
Sean?
Good coaching.
Really good coaching.
And there's the biggest lead now for North Carolina. 12 points for Williams.
And not the best scoring lineup into the game for North Carolina. That's why for Notre Dame, North Carolina's got to stay with TJ Gibbs and Matt Farrell and then be mindful of Rex Pfluger. But the big guys are not scorers right now.
Robinson a little too handsy. Gets called for the foul on the perimeter, his first.
Mooney Gevin coming back into the game right now. Mike Bray just trying to get him a little extra rest after the timeout.
Farrell, the defense's back was turned, score the bucket, and a chance for 3 for Matt Farrell.
And Mike Bray told Allison Williams at halftime, maybe some more drives from Farrell, get him going, maybe pick up a foul. And even though that he had John Mooney wide open on that roll replace action, Matt Farrell hopefully can see a bigger basket if you're Notre Dame because he saw something go down.
Boy, uncharacteristically poor free throw shooting by Notre Dame. They're better than 76% for the year coming in. Only Virginia better in the ACC.
10 of 18 so far. I mean, that is really uncharacteristic for the Irish.
Yeah, last year as a team they were 80%, which was the ACC record. A little bit down from that this year, but not a lot. And that's 5 North Carolina turnovers now.
Bounce pass might have been a little bit better, or just go up and finish. You get the ball that close to the basket. Theo Pinson's a really good athlete. Go ahead and take it up, but if not, a bounce pass is going to be a lot easier under the bucket.
Mooney out to Farrell, just can't find one, and he is frustrated with himself.
Most of them are challenged though, Sean. They all have a hand in his face. He's not gotten anything easy.
Farrell is 0 for 8 from 3. Johnson's 3 rimmed off.
Farrell needs to start creating for others right now. Awfully early in the clock to be pulling the trigger.
It was Pfluger who missed in the quick transition 3.
That's 6 of 19 for Notre Dame from three-point range. 5 of those makes are Mooney. Everybody else is struggling.
Williams continuing his recent string of good play. His 14 points tonight.
4 games in a row in double figures. And an Irish timeout.
Imagine if ESPN's wires somehow got crossed. If it's hoops, they'd get crossed over, right? 16 voices, 8 analysts, 4 games, 2 levels, 1 night. It's the NBA NCAA crossover.
Great lineup of games on Wednesday. Interesting array of announcers and pairings, and a nice pass by Farrell into Gibbon. Much needed bucket for Notre Dame. Back within 7 with under 13.5 to go. Big Monday with Baylor and Texas to follow.
I think we're going to see Notre Dame continue with that ball screen action using Gibbon and/or Mooney, because another good drive by Joel Berry, and another really good example of his ability to finish after absorbing a bump. Berry with a little shot fake and not well defended there by TJ Gibbs, but see how Joel Berry never took his eyes off the rim, kept his eyes up. Your eyes make layups around the basket, and even when he was falling down, his eyes are on the rim.
He has 15. The foul on Gibbs was his second. Baylor and Texas next. Big game for both teams. Are ESPN BPI. The odds of either one of those teams making the tournament increases significantly with a win tonight. They're both in a similar situation. There's a 3. The first of the night for Matt Farrell. Now 1 out of 9 from beyond the arc.
Well, he needed that. Both he and Gibbs are a combined 3 of 19 on the game.
May lost it as he tried to take in the pass.
Really, as poorly as the guards for Notre Dame have played, there are a couple of stops and a couple of buckets away. What a terrible shot.
He just made one.
Made one because he got an open one off a really good action with Pfluger, and then takes another one to mire himself in it even further. And you can't give away possessions like that. If they had scored there, that puts a little bit of game pressure on North Carolina. They just gave it away.
And at the other end, he commits his second foul. It's not like Mike Bray has a lot of options on that bench. They are not a deep team at all. Played 8 men tonight, but Burns and Jogo played very little. Burns more than he would have because of the foul difficulty to Gibbon in the first half.
Double high ball screen, nice pass.
You can tell Coach Williams' message about staying up on Mooney was heard by the Tar Heels. Gibbon spins one around and in. He has 14 points, and a little restlessness now palpable in the crowd.
2-possession game, and this was done basically without Gibbs or Farrell doing much at all in this game.
Johnson off with the 3. Williams crashed to keep it alive. It got poked around, and it'll be Carolina ball after immediate timeout. 11:38 remaining here in Chapel Hill. Carolina by 5. Super Tuesday appropriately is tomorrow. We have 2 great matchups for you. At 7, it's the Big 12. It's Trae Young and number 23 Oklahoma on the skids lately against 7th-ranked Texas Tech men in the ACC. Number 1 Virginia just moved up to number 1 in the country today, taking on Miami at Coral Gables. Both the games on ESPN and the ESPN app. 35 years since Virginia was last number 1. We want to know in this week's Capital One fan vote, who do you think deserves to be the number 1 team in college basketball? There's your array of choices. And to vote, go to Facebook.com/SportsCenter.
I think all of those teams are deserving of number 1.
All of them?
All of them have played well enough to be called the number 1 team.
Well, I think it's between
Villanova and Virginia. But I think with Virginia losing at home, I would not have taken Villanova out of the top spot.
Well, they lost at home too.
I know, that's my point. But you can't punish one for losing and then say the other one's okay. That's an offensive foul. That's interesting.
And Mike Bray is starting to lose his patience with the officiating crew.
Well, unless there was an arm that shot way out.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's not an offensive foul.
It's almost like ever since Roger Ayers stared at him, they've had a tough time with the whistles. 3 fouls now on Gibbs. He and Farrell combined for 33 points per game. They have 14 combined. But after the Gibbon rebound, Notre Dame still down by only 7 with a long way to go. 10.5 minutes remaining.
Gibbon and Mooney have been great in this game. They've combined for 11 of 12 from the field, 29 points between the two of them.
Mooney hasn't taken a shot in this second half. He takes his first one of the half and makes his 6th three.
And you would think that both Matt Farrell and TJ Gibbs would be thinking, we need to do whatever we can to get the ball to Mooney and Gibbon.
18 points, a career high for John Mooney. Pinson, strong drive, missed the shot. And a Carolina foul on the rebounding action on Luke May, his 3rd.
You just cannot leave Mooney. And right here, like Theo Pinson helps in. There's no reason to help there. You don't help off of a 3-point shooter like John Mooney. That's no man's land right there. What happens if he doesn't help and stays home on Mooney? Then TJ Gibbs has to take a tough 2 over one of Carolina's big guys. Just a defensive mistake.
Oh boy. Gibbs out of the witness protection program as he buries a 3. His first 3-point field goal of the night. It is a 1-point game.
And now who has game pressure on him? It's North Carolina. There's a totally different feeling in this building than there was 5 minutes ago.
You can see a lot of the fans on their feet now. Boy, wild shot by Berry after a good drive. And it's Notre Dame ball with a chance for the lead.
If I were Mike Bray right now, I'd run some ball screen action and use Mooney in it. And get some sort of pick and pop and see if North Carolina stays with the ball too long.
Notre Dame's last lead was at 5-4 with 16:35 remaining in the first half. Farrell down the edge of the lane, missed the floater. And the rebound got deflected out to Andrew Platek. Pinson the push. It was blocked and a foul called. Mooney contested and got called for his 3rd.
After that shot by Matt Farrell, that puts Matt Farrell way behind the play and just allows a run out for North Carolina. And a really good job. That's one of the reasons when Theo Pinson gets a rebound, I mean, he basically becomes a point guard. He can take it up himself. Bray trying to keep Matt Farrell in it. Farrell's still got the capacity to make big plays in this game. Don't get your head down. There's plenty of time left.
Pinson 81% from the line. 3 of the 5 Carolina starters are better than 80% from the free throw line. May's on the bench right now. Quiet night by his standards. Under 9 minutes to go.
So using Austin Torres set a screen. Nobody's going to stay with him.
Gibbs the floater. It pops out. He got it back in traffic.
Theo Pinson left early. Just thought it was going to bounce to him instead of stopping, picking up the ball, and then going.
Williams right there on Mooney's catch. Still 12 on the shot clock. Pfluger directing traffic. Torres screen and roll. Nearly lost it out of bounds and cannot score underneath. Strong move to the bucket by Sterling Manley. And he'll be at the line for 2. Torres called for the foul, his 3rd.
John Mooney has really kept Notre Dame in the ball game with his expert three-point marksmanship. The big guy has been fantastic from behind the arc.
All right, Carl, thanks. And after that Baylor-Texas game, you can join Kenny Mayne and John Anderson for SportsCenter. They'll have more of Johnny Manziel's interesting interview from Good Morning America, plus the NBA's big matchup between Blake Griffin and Anthony Davis, and the inspiring look at Texas basketball player Andrew Jones' battle with leukemia. SportsCenter after Big 12 hoops on ESPN and ESPN app. Blake Griffin's made a big difference immediately with those Detroit Pistons.
That's a big get for Detroit. It's tough for them to get free agents. Really good pass off the ball screen action. They used Mooney and Gebbin in the middle of the floor. Right now, those two guys are 13 of 14 from the field to combine for 34 points.
And the rest of the Notre Dame team is 7 out of 33, including 4 out of 23 combined for Farrell and Gibbs.
You had Pfluger in there. It's 5 of 29 for the starting backcourt for this Notre Dame team. They have really struggled.
Very strong drive to the wing, and he knocked it home. 17 for Joel Berry.
How good is Joel Berry? And he has not really shot the ball as well as he's capable of this year, but I've said it before, he's not just a winner, he's a champion. Good fake
by Mooney.
And then they foul him.
Yep, he didn't make it for the first time from beyond the arc, but he was fouled. 6 for 6 from three-point range, and now he'll shoot 3 after the second foul on Kenny Williams.
Just a brilliant fake by John Mooney. And a poor closeout by Theo Pinson. I'll tell you what, Mooney has played one whale of a game. He's been fantastic.
Not a great free throw shooter.
He's just back up to the three-point line.
And it's just 59% from the free throw line. Fans booing. They had to look at a replay. They didn't think Mooney was fouled.
Well, it's amazing that John Mooney can be that good of a perimeter shooter and struggle from the line.
The hat trick. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. A guy goes 6 for 6 from three-point range and over 3 from the line.
Great move.
Pinson. We talked about Carolina playing for the third time in 5 days and how unusual that is among ACC teams. But they're a much deeper team. This is the second in 3 days for Notre Dame, and they've had to travel to this one, and they look a little fatigued to me, Jay, with the short bench.
Well, especially after missing those 3 free throws, that can be a really deflating play. What a turnaround that was.
Williams the block on Mooney, and then a foul as Gibbs went back up with the follow.
And Notre Dame had a chance to cut the lead to 1. Really good block, but Notre Dame sticking with it in order to get fouled. That's a big time block by Theo. Oh, that was by Kenny Williams. I thought it was Theo Pinson at first.
So now Gibbs, the free throw shooter. Garrison Brooks, the foul, his first. And Carolina 1 away from being over the limit. Luke May returns.
And free throw shooting can be very important for these two teams down the stretch. Both of them are capable of shooting well from the free throw line, but just haven't in this game. You wonder how that's going to play out.
10 points now for TJ Gibbs, his 14th straight game in double figures. And the response is a jam by Cameron Johnson. Gebben rolls to the bucket and answers with a dunk for Notre Dame. And an Irish timeout.
Gebben with a great response. How about the baseline drive by Cameron Johnson, known as a three-point shooter? We had a little dunk contest breakout. Well, Cameron Johnson, the transfer from Pittsburgh, is a three-point shooting specialist, but he took the ball to the basket. That was a grown man move, and then the pick and roll defense by North Carolina has not been very good, and Martinez Gebben was as wide open as you can be on that roll to the basket. He rolls so hard. You can see he's a much better athlete than he gets credit for.
Nice pass by May to Pinson, and a chance for three for Theo Pinson, the senior from Greensboro.
Notre Dame went to the 2-3 zone out of the timeout. And getting the ball, just making two play one, and then a great cut by Theo Pinson into the open area in the middle.
And a problem for the Irish as Mooney's been called for his fourth foul. So Mike Bray's going to get him out for a moment or two, probably not for long. They sacrifice a lot of offense as he goes to the bench. And they're down by 7 with 5.5 to go. Elijah Burns is checked in for Mooney.
There's the screen, the hard roll by Gebben.
Pfluger. Strong drive. The shot was too strong. Made the rebound in, leading the break. Off to Pinson for the acrobatic layup.
Boy, Sean, that's the value of that small lineup. Luke May grabs a rebound and operated as a point guard, just busts out and starts the break on his own. And how many big guys are doing that?
Gibbs missed the floater. He managed to keep it alive and then out of bounds. Last touch by Burns. Mike Bray didn't like the call. He went running down to the baseline to Doug Schaus, pointing in the other direction.
Now watch this rebound by Luke May. Two hands, and he just takes it on his own. Starts a 3-on-2 break and winds up operating as a point guard running that break. That was really impressive. Pretty good finish by Theo Pinson, too.
Berry. He thought he got hit on the arm. May there to rescue it. Just his third field goal after he had 15 field goals made against NC State on his way to 33 points Saturday. 15 made field goals, the most in a game under Roy Williams as head coach at North Carolina. Notre Dame in the danger zone now. 4 minutes to go, facing their biggest deficit of the night. That is now 13 after the lay-in by Cameron Johnson. Timeout Irish.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Joseph A. Bank, the new tradition since 1905. And in part by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Super Tuesday tomorrow at 7 in the Big 12. Number 23 Oklahoma led by Trae Young taking on Texas Tech. Then number 1 Virginia battles Miami and Coral Gables. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. Should Sooner fans, Jay, be worried about Oklahoma? They were 14-2. They were ranked as high as number 4 in the country. They've lost 6 of their last 8.
Yes, they should be a little bit concerned. They should be more concerned with Texas Tech, because I'll tell you one thing. I think Keenan Evans of Texas Tech is going to outscore Trae Young. I mean, he's capable of putting up 35 in that game. Keenan Evans is one of the most underrated guards in the country. He can really play.
Tough luck for Notre Dame as Farrell's 3 rattled out. They'll probably be firing a steady diet of threes here, down by double digits with just more than 3 minutes to go. Carolina's at 7 of its last 8 with the shot clock at 4. Gibbs tried to take it away from Barry and got called for his 4th foul instead. And it is the bonus situation.
Farrell, Gibbs, and Pfluger for Notre Dame. A combined 5 of 33 from the field right now. You just can't win with your guards not putting the ball in the basket.
And again, you wonder about fatigue, not just the minutes, but the pressure-packed minutes they have to play, because those guys know they have to do it or their team isn't going to win.
Yes. And there's not a lot of margin for error for Notre Dame. You get in foul trouble, puts you in a bad spot. But boy, the 3 missed free throws by Mooney and then giving up a basket. Mooney's free throws, if he hits all 3 of them, that makes it a 1-point game. It went to 6 after that. And that was, to me, that was the turning point.
I think the gas tank is on empty for this undermanned Notre Dame team. As you mentioned, Carolina playing for the 3rd time in 5 days. But as you have seen, if you've been watching tonight, and we assume you have been, why wouldn't you be? It is a very deep Carolina team.
Yeah, certainly much deeper than Notre Dame. But North Carolina, this 3-game stretch the Tar Heels had, that could have been a go the other way thing for the Tar Heels too. If you lose to Duke, lose to NC State on the road that had beaten North Carolina in this building earlier this year. There are a lot of people that were starting to write off North Carolina. I think this is a second weekend NCAA tournament team.
Could they get all the way back to the championship game for the 3rd year in a row?
I think that's a much taller order. I mean, I thought North Carolina the last 2 years the best team in the country, both years, 2016, 2017. This is a different team. This is more like the team that Roy Williams had in 2006 or 2010. Those teams after they won the national championship and had such deep personnel losses. Very good, but not quite as good.
This is going to be the 20th win of the season for North Carolina. It'll be the 14th time in Roy Williams' 15 seasons as head coach of the Tar Heels that they've reached 20 wins. And it's going to be his 200th ACC victory. That's regular season ACC conference games and ACC tournament games. He'll be just the 4th coach to reach 200 combined wins in the ACC. Coach K, Dean Smith, and Gary Williams, Hall of Famers all. And Roy Williams in the Hall of Fame since 2007. Continues to pile up milestones. He's going to empty the bench now with 1:13 to go. Only one more home game after this game for North Carolina.
It's really amazing. We've reached nearly the end of the season. I mean, there's still a lot of basketball left to be played, but it's been a long road to get here.
They have a tough schedule left.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah.
North Carolina?
Yes.
It's brutal.
Jogo a 3. Maybe he can take a little confidence away from this final minute. They've been waiting for him to find his shooting stroke. The North Carolina's next game is at Louisville. They go to Syracuse. They have Miami here, and they finish at Duke. That's about as tough a remaining schedule as any team in the country. Brandon Huffman, the bucket, one of those bench players in. There's the remaining schedule. All of them on ESPN. Both teams are emptying the bench. Matt Gregory went in toward the bucket and could not score.
Pretty good block there by Shea Rush, who is doing a great job on Roy Williams' television show interviewing Tar Heel players.
I wonder if he's free for a Big Monday analyst role.
No, some play-by-play I think would be his. I am looking.
Kane Ma, Aaron Rollman is out there. This is Shea Rush. The shot clock running out. Huffman fouled with 2.9 to go. Oh, Mike Bray entering tonight's game hoping to go 3-3 down the stretch, trying to steal one tonight. They knew it would be a tough battle against a very good North Carolina team here. And here's their remaining schedule. At Boston College, that's a much improved Eagle squad. Miami in the Bend, that's our big Monday game next Monday night. At Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, a home game. You would expect them to win, and perhaps they'll have Bonzie Colson back for that one. That'll be senior night. That would be a great way to welcome him back, let him be saluted by the great crowds at the Joyce Center.
Even if Bonzie Colson couldn't play, and the odd chance that he couldn't, Braid put him in uniform, put him in anyway.
So another history-making win for Roy Williams. And Carolina has won 4 in a row as it earns its 20th victory of the season.
Boy, that's a good stretch for North Carolina to win all 3 of these games in the last 5 days.
Joel Berry led 4 players in double figures for the Heels with 21. Gebbin at 18. Mooney at 18 for Notre Dame. Final scores: North Carolina 83, Notre Dame 66. For Allison Williams, Jay Billis, our crew led by Eric Mosley and Jeff Evers, Sean McDonough sending you back to the studio.